Many of you may have read the great biography on John Adams. I was someone who really loved the book, but one story really struck me. When John Adams was part of the Constitutional Congress in Philadelphia, on Sundays, he took the time to visit different churches. And it was there that he went for the first time to a Catholic church. And someone asked him what his impression was. And he said it was awful. Not in the way that we think about the word awful, but rather full of awe. And I think when we think of the gift of the Holy Spirit of fear of God, it's not fear in the sense of the kind of fear that's paralyzing or the kind of fear that makes us want to turn away, but rather it's the recognition of who God is and who we are. And it's being in the presence of God and being overwhelmed and in awe of God's beauty, of the endlessness of God's love. We might think of fear of the Lord more like seeing that beautiful sunset and knowing that only God's hand could have created something so beautiful. Fear of the Lord as a gift of the Holy Spirit is that instinct within us to know that God is God and we are creature. There's a great quote from St. Catherine of Siena that in a conversation with God, God said to Catherine, "Catherine, I am he who is, and you are she who is not." Meaning that though we're called to be God-like, that we know that only God can be God. And so we want to live in recognition that the good that we have, the gifts that we have, the power that we may have comes from God and is used to draw us closer to God. It's a spiritual recognition of we live in awe of the goodness of God, and that drives us, right, to be the practice of piety. It drives us to want to seek the counsel of God. But most importantly, it also reminds us that first and foremost, that what God asks of us, as the commandments say so clearly, is that He's our first thought and that He's our most important thought.